Hi, it's Tony Marino, host of the super popular Newsmax Daily podcast, a rundown of the day's top headlines and top highlights of Newsmax shows and interviews you may have missed, plus some sports, stock markets, and even some yucks, all packed into about 20 minutes. Search for the Newsmax Daily with me, Tony Marino, on your favorite podcast platform, and check out our entire lineup of great podcasts, including Greg Kelly, Rob Carson, and Jerry Callahan at newsmax.com/listen.
Now.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
T-minus 1 day till Friday. How you kids doing today, huh? I'll tell you what, I cannot wait until spring. You know, I grew up on a farm, and the spring in the farm is terrible. Because everything's muddy. It's a muddy mess. It's awful. There's manure and there's mud and all that crap. But I'm telling you, I am ready. I am stir crazy from being cooped up. I'm going to get out. I'm going to enjoy it because it was an okay winter. And then all of a sudden it just went, dang, what the heck? So I cannot wait to I'm going to get out this weekend to do the DCR. I'm going to Udvar Hazy. You know what that is? Udvar Hazy? It's a big aircraft museum, historical museum out by Dulles Airport. And they've got the Enola Gay there. They got an SR-71 Blackbird there. They got a space shuttle there. I'm going to go there. I'm going to go there this weekend. I'm going to get out. So I am looking forward to spring, man. I am really looking forward to getting out and enjoying the weather and all of that this spring. And you know, it has been kind of it is a B word of a winter for a good share of the United States. Did you hear the bad news? They're getting rid of Minutemade frozen orange juice. You know this? It's a staple of my childhood, Minutemade frozen orange juice. Now, is it just white trash kids who grow up on farms who don't have a lot of money that would occasionally, if there was no ice cream around, just crack open a thing of Minutemade frozen orange juice and just eat about half of it? Am I the only person who did that? And then you sit there and you put it in the pitcher and you got to let it thaw out because otherwise it's just a block. And then you got to sit here and you got to chop it in the pitcher to come apart, then finally stir it, or you can just leave it out on the counter all night and then just pour it in that soupy mixture into the water. But yeah, they're getting rid of Minutemade frozen orange juice. It's been around for 80 years. I think I literally moved twice with one can of Minutemade frozen orange juice in my freezer. Because, you know, you just forget about it sometimes. Minutemade frozen orange juice. They got the lime. The lime juice too, right? And you can make margaritas with it, I guess, is what I'm hearing. But yeah, they're getting rid of Minutemade frozen orange juice. That is one of those, like Tang. Remember Tang? Does anybody remember Tang? No. Hunter. No, not that Tang. I'm talking about the juice, the powder that tastes like oranges that they took with them into space. It's not that other stuff. Anyway, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start off the day with some good news. Yeah, why the heck not?
We love to win. Winning, so much winning. It's lots of winning. It's oh so good.
I have a funny feeling there's going to be a run on Minutemade frozen orange juice, but here's the good news about the economy.
Look at the facts of the economy. It is a booming economy. The latest report is almost 5.5% growth in the fourth quarter, which is an incredible number. We haven't seen that in recent memory. We've got gas prices down. Inflation is headed down to the 2% target. Median family income last year was up $2,500. Those are people in the exact middle, adjusted for inflation. I mean, I could go on and on with the positive.
Yeah, I know, and because the Democrats did that stupid shutdown in December, would have had 7% growth. Barack Obama was the president for 8 years, and growth was always about 1%. It was an absolute crap hole. So there you go. That's some good news. And then old Jake Tapper, he decided to have there's a steel company in Baltimore on, and all the Democrats and people who read the Wall Street Journal, they all thought that the tariffs were going to destroy the economy. Well, not so much.
Let's check back with the very first factory we visited to talk about these tariffs with the owner, Drew Greenblatt, the CEO of Marlin Steel, just up by 95 in Baltimore, Maryland.
Yep.
Joins me now. Drew, thanks so much. You were enthusiastic about the potential of the tariffs when they were announced, and business was going well the last time we checked in with you.
Surely things have gone to hell in a handbasket.
How are things now? You still feel the same way?
Well, the numbers are in. We had our best year ever.
Oh, no!
In 2025. So we are so excited about 2026. It's going to be even better in 2026. We just bought the most expensive tool we've ever bought.
Yeah?
It's a laser punch.
Oh, I thought the most expensive tool you could buy is a congressman.
It's going to be installed in this factory in about 2 months.
Yes.
We can't wait for it to
Democrat.
come. It's going to make our team go 10 times faster than they're currently going.
Whoa.
They're moaning in China. They're going to be sad in Mexico.
Yeah.
Because we're going to be building here in America.
Wow.
We're going to be buying a lot of American steel.
Woo.
And we're going to be able to export to many more countries. We're going to be much more competitive. So we're leaning in. We bought another 3D bender from our vendor in
Nothing like a 3D bender.
Chicago.
It's better than a 3-day bender. I've done those before.
And we've also bought a couple forklift trucks, and we've also bought a couple more press brakes. So we're
and here's the thing. I don't know if you knew this, but if you're building a factory here and you're going to build stuff, you can write off everything this year. You can write it all off this year. Well, I'm telling you, and I've been telling this for a while. No president has ever done what Donald Trump is doing right now. No president has ever done what Donald Trump is doing right now. Did you know in Washington, D.C., the District of Columbia, they're trying to C-block Donald Trump's tax cuts. So people who live in Washington, D.C. won't be able to, they'll have to pay tax on their Social Security. They'll have to pay tax on their tips and all of that. The federal government's getting involved because this is the Democrat Party. They're awful, awful people, and they lie to get elected. Just look at the governor of Virginia. Lied about who she was, and then they spring on a Marxist agenda after they lied about getting elected. But Donald Trump is doing everything he's doing. You don't need to be an economist. You don't need to be an economist to say, okay, let's see. We cut regulation. We cut taxes. We allow people to write off everything when they're building factories. We bring down the price of fuel. We shut down the southern border. Let's see. We get rid of the income tax on Social Security. We get rid of income tax on overtime. We get rid of we allow you to buy an American-made car and write off the interest. And again, the first 2.5, 3 years you own a car, that's what your payment is. It's interest. So take your little car payment and just get ready to take all of that off for your deduction at the end of the year. Duh. It should make it's common sense what he's doing. And it's amazing. And it's amazing, and it's amazing, and it's amazing. Yesterday, I opened the show, and I was talking about the Democrat Party and how you cannot be a sane person, a reasonable person, a person of faith if you're a Democrat. And I said, and I issued an appeal to Democrats to please just do something to change your party. Because your party is doing a death spiral into hell. And I don't believe, I believe this is an 80-20 issue. 80% of the country believes the country, loves the country, are patriotic about the country, believe that we should work together. And then there's 20% of these complete leftist idiots and crazy Karens in places like Minnesota. And I believe that the Democrat Party, if you can just have like maybe more John Fettermans, then we can really come together here. And I think that the divide is going to become greater between the 80 and the 20 as the year progresses because things are going to get so much better. And I mentioned this yesterday, and last night I heard Greg Gutfeld echo what I had to say when they were talking about this voter ID thing, which, by the way, most people agree with, including Democrats. But there are 20% who don't. And unfortunately, in that 20% are Democrats in Congress. They're bat guano crazy. They are voting against the will of the people. Everything they side on is on the wrong side of common sense and reason. That's it. So I'm, again, suggesting that Democrats, you do something about your party because your party is going nowhere. Here's Harry Inton with the statistics about voter ID and how much we're all in favor of it, and then get Greg Gutfeld's comments about the Democrat Party.
85% of white people favor it, 82% of Latino, 76% of black Americans favor it. So the bottom line is this. Voter ID is not controversial in this country.
What?
A photo ID to vote is not controversial in this country. It is.
Wait, hold on. It's Jim Crow 2.0. It's totally racist. Or Chuck Schumer's just lying.
It's not controversial by party, and it is not controversial by race. The vast majority of Americans agree with Nicki Minaj that, in fact, you should
80-20.
have a photo ID to be able to vote.
Yeah.
But if your political strategy can't survive an audit, maybe your problem isn't the law, it's your party.
Yeah.
It's as crooked as a picture hung on a wall by Kamala after happy hour. Same people who tell you borders are fake.
Yeah.
Gender is a choice,
Yeah.
and crime is a social construct, suddenly insist elections should be taken on faith. So yeah, call it Jim Crow. The rest of America is calling it sanity.
Yeah.
And when sanity becomes controversial, you don't need an ID to check to know who the nut jobs are.
Yeah, and the nut jobs are in Democrat leadership, not a lot of run-of-the-mill Democrat people who share neighborhoods with Republican people, maybe even get together and have dinner every once in a while, although none of my liberal friends have anything to do with me anymore because they're bat guano crazy lunatics who live in Montgomery County, Maryland. Here's a little bit more from Gutfeld on voter ID.
The other, they think black people can't get a photo ID. All right, so you got to hand it to the Democrats.
Yeah.
On one hand, they think a child can handle the decision to lop off their genitals.
Yeah, that's true.
But then on the other, they think black people can't get a photo ID.
I know.
Right, Chuck?
The SAVE Act is an abomination.
No, it's not.
It's Jim Crow 2.0 across the country.
No, it's not.
We are going to do everything we can to stop it.
Thanks for weighing in, Chuck. So Dems are calling the SAVE Act Jim Crow 2.0, but if that were the case, they'd support it again.
Yeah.
But to them, showing an
Because Jim Crow's a Democrat policy.
ID to vote is no different than forcing people to drink from separate water fountains. Meanwhile, you need an ID to buy Sudafed, rent a U-Haul, and date Bill Belichick.
Nice. Yeah, so what I said yesterday is true. That the only people who are going to save the Democrat Party are people with common sense, logic, and reason who are people of faith and are patriots, okay? Those are going to save the Democrat Party. And if you don't, the Democrat Party is going to continue to wander in the wilderness and then eventually fall off a cliff, all right? Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show.
What now for us? Hillary's worry. We had to agree to testify. Comer had us over a barrel. Must say that he's a tenacious guy. If I tell the truth about Epstein, about each and every single teen, I'll go to jail. Hillary too. I don't know what I'm gonna do. What now for us? Now we have no choice but go to D.C. and testify. We have to lie.
They're gonna find election fraud down in Fulton County. Looking at 2020, when the steal took place. After it is proven, Bonnie Willis will look stupid. Brian Kemp and Ratzenberg will not show their face. That water made brick, yes, it was a total fake. Suitcases with ballots everywhere. Kemp was so weak he went and turned the other cheek. About the fraud he didn't seem to care. Democrats aren't known for playing fair.
What you talking about, Willis?
They're gonna find election fraud down in Fulton County.
He's run Minnesota in the ground. Massive fraud Timmy never found. Billions lost. Oh, what a cost. Goodness gracious, Walz is in trouble. He's obstructing ICE every day. He wants illegals to get their way. Out of control. He has no soul. Goodness gracious, Walz is in trouble. Tim is thinking they might impeach him. Should be resigning. For Minnesota, he has done no good. It's sad, so sad. As governor, he's been bad, 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 bad. Many calls for Tim Walz to step down. Minnesota can't afford this clown. Throw him in jail, deny him bail. Goodness gracious, Walz is in trouble. His impeachment is an absolute must. Tim has lost the people's trust. He's gotta go, 'cause we all know, goodness gracious, Walz is in trouble.
The Rob Carson Show podcast is everywhere. Go to newsmax.com/listen for details.
There's a new Pew Research poll that 95% of Republicans, but also 71% of Democrats like this idea. So why do you not?
It's Jim Crow 2.0. And I called it Jim Crow 2.0, and the right wing went nuts all over the...
You also did the same thing about vote integrity in the state of Georgia, and ended up more black people voted after that.
Internet. That's because they know it's true. What they're trying to do here is the same thing that was done in the South for decades to prevent people of color from voting.
Oh, shut up.
For instance, if you change your
blah 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 blah. That's what I hear. Racism, Jim Crow, blah 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 blah.
A woman who got married and changed your last name, you won't be able to show ID and you'll be discriminated against.
Oh my God!
If you can't find a birth certificate or a proper ID, you'll be discriminated against.
Get an ID.
This is vicious and nasty. And I said
get a friggin' ID and a birth certificate. You can do it. Barack Obama did it years later. He flew back to Hawaii and got it.
Our Republican colleagues, it will not pass the Senate. You will not get a single Democratic vote in this.
I got to tell you, the Democrat Party are so bat guano crazy. Like I've got montages of Democrats just going ape guano about nonsense. Here is the first 100 days of the Trump administration.
It is 100 days of chaos. From one end of the government and one end of the country to the other.
They are driving us toward a painful Republican recession.
Tariffs that, as I predicted, are clearly inviting a recession.
This is an economic Armageddon that's coming for the U.S. consumer and the economy.
You see all of his cabinet members, his other aides, going on TV and glorifying the tariff-mageddon we have just been through and are still going through.
President Trump shrugs as the stock market plunges and the dollar weakens amid warnings that his tariffs could throw the United States into a recession.
I'm just so done with your stupid crap. Honestly, I'm just so done with you stupid people. And look, everything that was right there has just been proven wrong already. And they just keep going and going, and this is that, and the louder they get, the more outrageous the comments. Rounding up illegal alien criminals, and Tim Walz using Anne Frank as comparing her to an illegal alien. Where else are you going to run with this? You called them slave patrols. Now you're calling this Jim Crow 2.0. You've already insulted the memory of the Holocaust victims in slavery. And what the hell else, man? I mean, what else are you going to do? It's noise. It's just noise now. And this is why I'm encouraging Democrats to just get out of the party or change your party, because honestly, you guys are nuts. You guys are nuts. Donald Trump he did an interview last night on NBC, and it was actually a pretty good interview. I want to share it, intersperse it throughout the show, and Democrats have tried to convince you that the elections are free and fair, which is bullcrap. We all know that Democrats brought in 20 million illegals to load them up with largesse to inflate their numbers for the census, because so many people are leaving Democrat states because they make it suck. And then they're also registering people to vote. Like for instance, in Somalia, you've got to loading them up with largesse, and they vote slavishly. That's racist. No, it's not. Slavishly Democrat. And all of this. So Donald Trump, he said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to make sure that Democrat states can no longer cheat in elections. And the Democrats are screaming, even though Democrats wanted to nationalize elections. While Joe Biden was president, Democrats wanted to nationalize elections. It was number one on their priority list. Now they're screaming that Donald Trump wants to nationalize elections, which is not true.
You've recently suggested nationalizing elections. What do you mean by that?
And I didn't say national, I said there are some areas in our country that are extremely corrupt. They have very corrupt elections. Take a look at
we're discovering that in Georgia, and whoa, it's going to get big and ugly.
Detroit. Take a look at Philadelphia. Take a look at Atlanta. There are some areas that are unbelievably corrupt. I could give you plenty more too. I say that we cannot have corrupt elections.
Oh, my God.
If we have to, if they don't...
You're a racist! That's Jim Crow 2.0!
Straighten it out. As an example, voter ID. Why don't the Democrats want voter ID?
Yeah.
You know who does want voter ID? Democrat voters want it,
yeah,
but Democrat politicians don't.
No.
Why don't they want it?
Here's what you're going to have to do, Democrats. You're going to have to come up with policies that win elections rather than stealing them or rigging them.
Because they want to cheat on elections. Can you imagine if I were a politician and they asked me, do you want voter identification? And I said, no, there's no way you could win that debate.
Yeah.
But even the Democrats don't want voter ID. If they don't want voter
ID. It ends at that. There's no debating it further. The Democrats don't want voter ID because they want people who can't vote to vote Democrat. Duh!
Voter ID, that means they want to cheat. We can't allow cheating in elections. Now,
that's why they don't want the voter rolls cleaned up.
If we need to put in federal controls as opposed to state controls, remember this, they're really an agent. They're really accumulating the votes for who wins an election. If they can't do it honestly and it can't be done properly and timely, then something else has to happen.
Yeah, something else got to happen. Here's Donald Trump talking about looking at those ballots in Atlanta.
But let me ask you this. If China or any of these countries are involved in our elections, that would bring her into it. And everybody knows that Russia, they talked about Russia. It turned out to be a hoax. It was Hunter Biden. It wasn't Russia. Look, we have to have honest elections. Yeah. There should be nothing wrong with the fact that they went in, got ballots from a while ago, and they're going to look at them. And now they're going to find out the true winner of that state.
Yeah, and what have the Democrats said about just going in and looking at those ballots that were questionable, that never were looked at, never signature verified? They're saying that Donald Trump wants to rig the midterms because they already know they're going to lose the midterms. They're saying he's going to cheat in the midterms. We don't cheat in elections. We win on the basis of the issues and our platform. That's how we do it. And they're also saying Jim Crow 2.0, which is hackneyed, which is tired. They've already used it, and it didn't work, and here we go again. It is remarkable, the death spiral into hell that the Democrats are doing. And by the way, Mike Lee and Chip Roy, they're going to do this Save America Act next week, which guarantees you got to have an ID when you go vote, because that's what Americans want. It's just the Democrat elite who don't. And the reason why they don't is because they want to stay in power and continue to enrich themselves and their cronies with your money. That's it. That's all. That's that. Michael Charbon, Newsmax Canadian correspondent and host of the Charbon Report, joins us next. Don't go anywhere.
Hello, my name is Brian Delatry, and I started taking Relief Factor just about a year ago. I was having chronic knee pain over time. It just got worse and worse. Just walking downstairs was painful. Well, since I've taken Relief Factor, the results have been just amazing. I actually walk 4 miles a day, 5 to 6 days a week. No pain at all going downstairs. Very active playing golf, and it's been really just unbelievable in the change I've had in the pain in my knee. Hope that someone who's experienced the same type of pain gives Relief Factor a try. And I guarantee if you get the results that I have, you'll be very happy. I'm going to continue using the product because I am now pain-free.
Don't wait. If you're dealing with daily pain, launch your 3-week quick start and see what Relief Factor can do for you. Go to relieffactor.com. How will it feel to be out of pain?
With the actions he's taken, Jacob Wright is making Minneapolis a clown town. Ice fries are bows and while Tim Walz is doze and city has become a clown town. Ilhan Omar's hiding fraud, Keith Ellison's obstructing a war on law enforcement. Jacob Price conducting Tampon Tim is so incompetent. Most Minnesotans want no more of him. It's a clown town, Minneapolis, clown town. It's far from fabulous, clown town. Once great cities become clown town, clown town. The town of Portland I sent in the guard. Antifa, they are gonna hit you hard. The Democrat mayor's getting in my way. Go ahead, punks, and make my day. F around and find out. F around and find out. Schumer's gonna find out. I mean business and I'll get my way. Pencil neck and Chris Ray. For your crimes you will pay. You have both been found out. Hope you get a lengthy prison stay. Listen up, Hamas, I am warning you. Break the ceasefire and you'll be through. Democrats, hang your head in shame. For the shutdown, you're gonna get the blame. F around and find out. Mess around and find out. F around and find out. In the end, I'm gonna win the day. Find out.
Somalis are all on welfare, and the Dems just seem to not care. Ilhan Omar, she needs to go. GTFO, GTFO, GTFO. Many are anti-Semitic. Their statements have been pathetic. They're a threat to all you know. GTFO, GTFO, GTFO. They are always expressing hate of America. Why are they here? Must abort before it's too late. Talk about holiday cheer. Our language, they will not learn it. Own money, refuse to earn it. They are gaming the system so. GTFO, GTFO, GTFO.
Come on.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, beauty, go.
Come on, Rush.
Take off to the great white north. Take off.
It's It's a beauty way to go. As we do sometimes, we have Michael Charbon on from the Charbon Report. Of course, that's his official theme song from Rush, the great band Rush, on tour, by the way, in 2026, without Neil Peart, unfortunately, but still absolutely awesome. How are you, Mr. Charbon?
Mr. Carson, I'm doing wonderful having the opportunity to talk to you and your valued listeners. You're just knocking it out of the park, buddy, I'm telling you.
Thank you. The show is growing, actually. It is, a lot of the times, people have been in the business a long time, like Glenn Beck's been in it for 20-some years, and Hannity's been in it for, national for, I've only been national for like 5 or 6, and it's starting to catch fire here because we do comedy and stuff. Speaking of which, condolences.
Wait a second. You wrote for Rush Limbaugh, buddy. Like, that's huge.
Yes, I wrote Rush Limbaugh, talent on loan from God. Yes, I many years.
You talk about great roots. Come on, Carson.
I know, brother. Well, speaking of comedy, Catherine O'Hara, Canadian comedian, absolute, brilliant. Working with Eugene Levy, I've been watching them for decades. One of the greatest gifts from Canada are some Canadian comedians, and she was one of the greats, bro.
Absolutely. I had opportunity. I've been involved in the television and film business in Canada for many years and won a bunch of awards and produced some features. And I had an opportunity to talk with Catherine O'Hara for about half an hour. The most genuine, wonderful woman, embracing. She started off as a waitress at Second City.
Oh, yeah.
And through grit and comedy, ended up working with John Candy, Eugene Levy, and then from the 1990 Home Alone to Beetlejuice to a whole bunch of other movies.
Schitt's Creek,
the one beautiful
which is
thing that we can
funny
say
show.
about Carson is we will continue to laugh with her into the future.
Best of show, man. I need to watch it because the Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show was just, and the Doberman Pinscher one, by the way. But Best of Show. Did you ever see Best of Show with her and Eugene Levy? Oh my God.
Yes.
So good.
I mean, she's just remarkable. I mean, when you work with a talent like that, you have script. And script gives the guidance and the confidence that you know where the story is going to go. Once the actor takes that script and takes those words and makes it their own, they add part of themselves to it. And that's what makes them great. And that's why Catherine O'Hara was such an exceptional comedic actress, because she had timing and she did improv. I mean, she's just a gift. A gift.
Yeah, the opposite of a gift to Canada is your Prime Minister Carney. They're doing a gun buyback program like they did in Australia, in Canada now.
Yeah, they started in 2020. They identified about 2,500 different types of firearms that they think that they want to buy back, and they're going to pay between $150 to $1,500 per gun. So far, Rob Carson, they've spent $67.2 million, of which $11.5 million has been on consultants, and they've gotten back about 300 guns.
Well,
I mean, so here's the one fact. If I may be so bold to suggest, it's a noted fact that the majority of gun crime that has taken place in gang shootings, etc., is done with a handgun. And between 85 and 90% of all handguns, which are unregistered and illegal, come from the United States, not from legal handgun owners or people who own rifles.
It's an old argument, dude. It's the same crap. We fortunately have the Second Amendment here, but unfortunately in places like Virginia, we've got a bunch of bat guano crazy socialists who are attempting to go after guns. It's not going to end well for them, by the way. But, they always say, we're going to do, it's a gun buyback program, but it's you can't volunteer to do it. It's an involuntary gun buyback program. In Australia, that's what they did. They said, well, we're going to buy your guns from you. You don't have a choice, but we're gonna get your guns. We're going to confiscate your guns, and we're going to give you money. It is utterly ridiculous.
It's voluntary until the deadline. The deadline is March, and amnesty is in October. So the problem is that, ironically, all these guns that they're trying to confiscate back are registered by legal gun owners.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what some of your laws in the United States are, but you cannot own a firearm, a handgun, unless you belong to a gun club. Your gun has to have a pistol lock. It has to be locked inside a lockable case, and inside a gun safe. You have to have your ammunition also independently locked.
So stupid.
And a gun which sells for on the streets or in the United States for about $500 retails in the black market in Canada for about $5,000, and you're paying over $100 a bullet in Canada.
Dear
because
God.
you cannot buy ammunition unless you have a gun license, and you can't have a gun license unless you're a member of a gun club, and there's a waiting list for a gun club.
It's like a poll tax. You know what it is? Like in the United States, you have a right to vote, okay? You have a right to bear arms, too. Years and years ago, they got rid of the poll tax because they realized it was used by Democrats to keep black people from voting. And that's the same damn thing that they're doing with all these stupid, taxes and whatnot on guns. And in Virginia, particularly, it's not going to fly here in Virginia, where I live in Virginia. But it's akin to a poll tax because it is a guaranteed right, and the government is charging you for that right, and that's just not acceptable. Canada's obviously different, and it's a shame, unfortunately. But hopefully Canadian gun owners will tell them to stick it. What?
Rob, it's not legal gun owners. That's where everybody's getting upset.
I know.
I'm a handgun owner, okay?
Yeah.
I'll admit to that. There's very few Canadians who have fired a gun, never mind own a handgun. I'm going to tell you the stuff that we have to go through. You have to inform your neighbors that you're considering to purchase a handgun.
Shut up!
And they have to sign off to say that you're not a serial killer and you're not going to hurt anybody.
That's ridiculous. Are you kidding me? I would have to go to the HOA Karen and say, I'm going to get a gun? Are you out of your mind?
Yep.
Oh, my God.
Because they want to make sure, oh, my goodness, if you ever had a divorce, they go to your ex-wife and ask her what your opinion is of you owning a gun.
Well, I would be without a gun for sure. I mean, I'm not a danger or anything, but she just might want to mess with me.
No, but I mean, you see, the problem is it's kind of like when you make it so difficult for legal handgun owners, and between 85 and 90% of criminal activity done by guns is using a handgun, which is brought in from the United States.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not blaming the states because it's the gangs that do it, but why are you crippling legal handgun owners? Now, part of the problem here is also that there's some...
Because they're authoritarian.
That forget it.
Because they're authoritarian. They don't want people to defend themselves against an all-powerful government. Come on, man, read the Constitution.
Well, first of all, we don't have a constitution, but we have moose hunters. We have moose hunters in Newfoundland. They're going to say, "Don't you be doing that, there, lad? We're going to go to get the Newfoundland. We're going to go to get the moose." So they're not going to sit there and hand over their right. Now, you know, this whole thing about AR-15s and all that, where when you look at it, you can take a .22 rifle that you would train a 16-year-old on, and you could add all these little after buybacks to make it look like an AR-15, make it look like an automatic gun. That's what the problem is, and you guys had that same problem in the States when they were trying to ban guns. It was a real minimal rifle that was all juiced up with stuff that you had to make it look more powerful than it is.
Yeah, well, you know, that's overcompensating is what they call it there, Michael. Anyway, we got some more stuff to come up on the other side of the break. I want to talk about Iran. You guys have Canadian Iranians holding mass demonstrations. Also, Canada's Carney's lack of a U.S. trade deal really killing the economy. Not a big surprise. We'll cover that on the other side of the break. This is the Rob Carson Show. I'll let it establish it first. Here we go.
Mr. Speaker, I recognize that the Leader of the Opposition is just visiting his riding and will be running in another riding in the next election.
Who's riding next time?
He should spend some time, I would suggest, Mr. Speaker, with the farmers in his riding who benefit from our trade deal with China, $7 billion of new exports, who benefit from the biofuel charge that supports canola production, supports farm income, supports our future.
Here comes opposition. Come on, baby.
Mr. Speaker, I realize the Prime Minister is just visiting Canada.
There you go. That is Poilievre, or Poilievre is what Michael Charbon calls him. I can't wait till he's your Prime Minister, brother.
Well, we're hoping for that, but as I said before to your great listeners, Rob Carson, Canada has a problem. We have Groundhog Day. We all stand up and complain about the way it is, and in the end, when people sit there in that little booth, they all tick the Liberals. What happened with Carney? He was in a box, brother. I mean, because of the trade problems that we've been having with your great country, we've had farmers who have silos full of canola, and Carney had to make a deal with the devil to make it work. And with that devil deal, we got 49,000 EV vehicles in the same thing. And he had to do it. And, you know.
By the way, canola is not a good thing to be involved in because RFK Jr. has said it's crap. Is not good for you. You need to use olive oil and whatnot. So I don't know if canola is a very good investment for Canadians to be behind.
Well, they're growing canola, and they have canola seeds, and there's billions of dollars. Canola is used worldwide, regardless of Mr. Kennedy's expertise, and I don't question his expertise, but I'm just saying, as far as the farmer is concerned, a Canadian farmer, I want that man to be able to earn a living and be able to sell his product. And because of politics with the United States and the inadequacy of the Liberal government to make a deal with the states, we have to make a deal with the Chinese.
Well, don't you think that Donald Trump is playing? Don't you think that Donald Trump is playing 3D chess? I think he's playing 3D chess with you guys. He's trying to keep Canada from doing so much trade with you, and also I think he's actively trying to get rid of Carney, and that's what. And unfortunately, your economy is going to suck in the meantime.
Donald Trump is a master negotiator. Look what happened with Greenland. Everybody got upside down and sideways and lost their heads as the NATO had meetings. He's going to invade. What a load of horse manure. I'm telling you, what did he do? And when he comes back, now all of a sudden NATO's involved. Now all of a sudden he's not going to take over Greenland. Now all of a sudden they're going to go on bases. He got what he wanted because he went in DEFCON 5 and then stepped back a bit.
I love it.
He is a brilliant negotiator.
Oh, brother.
The problem is Carney has not come up to the way that he's dealing. But I will say one thing. What's
that?
Mr. Carney, our Canadian Prime Minister, has been very gracious and civil in dealing with the tactics of Donald Trump, who can be at times a little bombastic and a little bit verbose. But if you understand his tactics, you deal with it. And unfortunately, Carney has not flown down there and done a bloody deal. And the Canadian economy is suffering because of it, Bob.
It sucks. And Donald Trump is a street fighter. And he's gotten even tougher over the years because he's getting pummeled 97% negative stories, and he's never going to change. And I friggin' love it because we need it in this with these elites like Carney and these morons at NATO who he made it look like complete tools over in Davos. But anyway, let's move on to Iran. I'm hoping that Iran will poke the pit bull a little bit more so Donald Trump finally sends some tactical strikes and knocks that Ayatollah out. There's a big Iranian community in Canada that are protesting for the Ayatollah to be removed.
We have many Iranians who defected here once the Shah was eliminated. Now let's understand the Shah wasn't the best remedy that was installed by America, but it was sure as heck better than what it was. Now, because of this religious Islamic state, we had many Iranians who came to Canada. These are hardworking, very intelligent, educated, peace-loving, neighbor-loving people, and they are seeing that there is a chance now that some of their family members may be released from this horrible grip. But consider, Rob, 36,500 people were killed. Protesters.
I know.
This is what they're estimating.
I know.
So there are many Iranians with many Canadians hand in hand across Canada who are hoping that the Canadian government will stand by America and many of these other European countries to say that the Iranian regime must step down and allow Iran to be created. I mean, Iran needs to be created.
And this, listen, I've talked to Blaine Holt and others who said that the negotiations that are going on isn't for the Ayatollah to stay in power. So as soon as he's gone, I'm just praying that the people of Persia are able to walk free. All of our adult life, you know this since we were kids, has been under the control of the Ayatollah and the death grip that he's had on the world. Honestly, I hope they send a missile up his Ayatollah, to be quite honest. But either way, he's going to go, and he's got to go. And by the way, my doctor is Iranian. And the woman who gave me my colonoscopy is Iranian. So, I trust the Iranians. Let me just put it that way.
Well, I just got to say, if you were an international power and Donald Trump and the might of America floating their ships, just take a hint from Venezuela.
Yeah, baby.
Here's what it is, boys and girls. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to get out and leave, and we're going to make sure you're going to be okay. If you want to stick around and have a fight, best be at your best attention. And they don't have the resources, they don't have the money, they don't have the military or the ability to defend themselves. And if America, you saw what they did in Venezuela, the most powerful military in the world, not one person died. God bless Donald Trump for that.
We got Maduro out faster than you can get your Uber Eats order. It's unbelievable. Hey, Mike, I appreciate you, man. Where can people find your work, Michael Charbon?
Michael A. Charbon, you can watch the Charbon Report on YouTube. It's also michaelacharbon.com, and I'm on LinkedIn as well. Thank you very much, Rob Carson. You and your valued listeners. Appreciate it.
All right, brother. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. All righty. Yeah, the woman who gave me a colonoscopy. I know. I suggest Canada boot Mark Carney out. It would be nice, wouldn't it? No, my ex is not Iranian. No, my doctor is Iranian. He's a really good guy, by the way. He's a great guy. Great guy. He's been my doctor for a very long time, and he's excellent. Extra virgin olive oil, absolutely, yeah. Extra virgin olive oil is great. No seed oils, none of that bull crap. It's terrible for you. I have been, and listen, I cheated a little bit on the diet moving here. The stress of divorce and all that crap. But I'm really focusing on the wellness thing. We're getting ready to sign with a major supplement company that is life-changing. And I'll be telling you about them on the air. But I've been really getting rid of that crap. And if you see, like, for instance, I always want to go to the grocery store. I look at the ingredient labels. If it's more than 10 ingredients, gone. If it says vegetable oil, sunflower oil, canola oil, no. And more products are showing up. Like you get potato chips that are olive oil potato chips or olive oil mayonnaise. Those are the things that I'm buying. And you really need to pare down the ingredients in your stuff because it's making you sick. And, I'm getting ready. I actually am looking forward to going to the gym today. I normally go every other day. I've been like 4 days without, and I am hungry to get to the gym today. I really can't wait. And I am stronger than I've been since I was 30 years old. It's pretty remarkable for my age and everything. Blockbuster 2K, what's up? Shelby Inslee, what's up? American Marcy, Gary McGovern over on the YouTube page. You two bitches is what you are. You two bitches. And the Rumbly Rewers, proud to be a Jew. Sport Tech, all of you guys over there on Facebook too. Okay, I got to talk. Here we go.
About 320 here.
Michael Charbon's always a lot of fun. I really hope Polyev becomes the prime minister up there. I really, 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 really do. Gold is now $48.78. Remember last week it went up $500 in one day, and everybody sold off their gold, and it dropped about $800, maybe even much as $1,000 in an ounce in 1 week, and everybody's freaking out about it. Now they're recognizing it's a gold buying opportunity. Yesterday it was a 49 something. Now it's 48. So it's idling along here. It's tempting you. It's saying, come here and invest in me. That's what it's doing. Come on. I just cashed in my my last 401k with into a gold IRA. It was a small IRA, but enough to buy a little bit of gold. And they just sent the check, so I got in at a good rate, about where it is right now. And now I can just sit back and watch it grow. Birch Gold is the company I choose. You know that. Birch Gold is the company I choose because I trust them, because they have my money, among other things. And so all you have to do to get in on the gold buying, to get invest and get rid of that 401k that's underperforming, that's lying there like Joe Biden on the beach. Text my name, Rob, to 989898. Rob to 989898. For Birch Gold, they'll send you information, no obligation whatsoever. No obligation whatsoever. Birch Gold, 989898. Next week, they have relabeled the SAVE Act into the Save America Act. Here's Chip Roy to talk about it.
We worked with Stephen Miller. We were preparing for 24. We passed the bill, and the Schumer Democrats blocked it because apparently they think that non-citizens should be able to vote in American elections. So we reintroduced the SAVE Act, but we wanted to add the voter ID provision, and there's nothing really new there, right? This is something we've had before. We wanted to add that federal voter ID to be one powerful bill. The president, look, he knows how to sell. Save America Act is a great name, so we merged the two. We have the Save America Act, and look, everybody wants this.
Yes.
Okay? People say, and Democrats are going to say, oh, it's racist, this is Jim Crow. That's nonsense.
Not true.
If you look at the polling, CNN had polling that said 80% of people, regardless of skin color, believe that we should have voter ID.
Yep.
You got to have real ID to get on a plane. You got to have ID to go to baseball games. You can certainly have an identification to go vote in elections to defend the sovereignty of our country. So glad to move it through. Now I just hope once we move it through the House next week that leader thing.
Stop. Sooner or later, Democrat voters are realizing and will realize that the Democrat Party does not represent even their interests. And I think more and more Democrat voters are going to awaken to the fact that the Democrat Party is corrupt. The Democrat Party exists only to enrich itself. Did you ever hear Democrat voters or Democrat politicians ever mention their voters? Democrats. They never do. They mention the other Democrats in Congress. They say the American people, but they don't care about even their own voters. That's why they've worked so hard to replace them with illegals in states like California and Minnesota. All right, it's all going to catch up. It's all going to catch up to Democrats. All right, let's take a break and come back. Hour number 2 of the Rob Carson Show is right ahead. I wouldn't go anywhere.
No blind rhetoric.
No talking down to me.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think. Don't tell me how to think.
I trust Newsmax. Newsmax.
They don't tell me how to think. They let me decide.
Real news for real people.
about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show. This is hour number 2 of the Rob Carson Show, the aforementioned. And, of course, the number here is 800-922-6680. We are on radio stations around the country. We are also streaming live on all Newsmax social media, including Facebook. We've got a lot of people watching on Facebook, on X, a lot of people watching on X, Rumble, and YouTube and Instagram, among other things. So there you go. It's kind of cool. A lot of stuff to get to this hour. The Democrat Party is morally and intellectually bankrupt. I've been saying that for a very long time. They don't want free and fair elections because they can't win elections on ideas. They have to rig them and steal them. That's just the way it is. And, of course, we heard this yesterday. This is the big headline. This is Harry Inton from CNN.
Take a look here. Favorite photo ID to vote. 85% of white people favor it. 82% of Latino. 76% of black Americans favor it. So the bottom line is this. Voter ID is not controversial in this country. A photo ID to vote is not controversial in this country. It is not controversial by party, and it is not controversial by race.
It's not controversial at all. The only people who are saying that it's bad are people in Democrat leadership. And as things are developing in this country, as we are uncovering more massive fraud sweeping across the nation, I think more common sense Democrats are going to step forward and say, shut up. Okay, please. We want, and by the way, how about start being sane to the National Democrat Party? Each one of these house of cards keeps falling. We got this transgender nonsense that's beginning to be behind us, and those who committed it are being held accountable. And even a lot of Democrats are waking up going, what the hell were we thinking? Not all of you. There's some of crazy Karens who still believe that. But eventually it's going to catch up to the Democrat Party. The SAVE Act is becoming the Save America Act, and it's going to require photo ID. It's not racist because, you need an ID for everything. My God, think about all the times you need an ID. Every time I try to do anything online, every time I try to sign up for something, I get a rectal exam with the number of IDs that I need. And then, of course, they send you text you a code on top of all of that. And then you got to come up with another password. There are a million. It's not controversial. It's stupid to think otherwise. Here's Mike Lee with an optimistic vision of what's coming.
Brief update on the SAVE Act. This has been a huge day, great development. We've added more co-sponsors, and we've now got Senator Thune, the Senate Majority Leader,
get on it,
indicating that we'll be bringing it up for a vote. So Chip Roy and I, who introduced the SAVE Act for the first time 2 years ago, are retrofitting the SAVE Act to add in the voter ID requirement, something that we had originally included.
It's not a burden, okay? It's not a burden at all to present an ID, because you are preserving the integrity of your vote. Because every vote that is stolen by someone who is illegal or dead negates your vote. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous to think that this is a bad thing. Steve Scalise is working hard on this, too.
Yes, we've been working with President Trump. We wanted to bring what is now called the Save America Act, and that is the SAVE Act plus voter ID. And Chip filed the bill.
Yeah, we already heard that. So that's good. But Democrats, of course, are over here, and they're trying to distract and caterwaul, and they're calling it Jim Crow 2.0. And Tim Kaine, yes, I mean, this is really funny. Because we've been censored. There's been a creeping censorship with everything we say for the last 30 years, okay? And somebody decided years ago we could not say illegal alien. Okay, we cannot say illegal alien. Bullcrap. Finally, literally, like the last 2 years, we've been able to say illegal alien. Okay, we've also been able to say things like, a transgendered individual, isn't the sex that they claim to be. All right, remember that? Because all of that was censored. There's been a creeping censorship on our language. And here's Tim Kaine, who is an idiot, wears his glasses up on his forehead. He looks like an idiot. And he's in front of Congress yesterday saying, we can't say illegal aliens.
There's only one kind of person that we demonize with the label illegal, and I'm tired of it. In being here for 13 years.
Yeah, they're illegal, you see. That's why let's not really demonize it. It's just calling them illegal because they're illegal.
I've just heard too few words on this floor that talk about the contributions. that immigrants have made to this country.
Yeah, we're all sons of immigrants, you idiot. Most of us are sons of immigrants. We're all immigrants. We weren't born here, Native Americans. We stole their land. Okay, whatever. Sorry, I wasn't alive then. But we're all immigrants. The Democrats are like, oh my God, we're immigrants. And then they throw in our faces that we are anti-immigrant because we want people to come here legally like our ancestors did. It's a distraction.
During our entire history, immigration is the transfusion.
Yeah, we know this already. I learned it. I learned it at Schoolhouse Rock. Great American melting pot.
Into the bloodstream of the American economy and the American politics.
Yeah, because we partake in it. We built America. Immigrants built America.
That keeps our nation young at 250. New skills, new ideas, new connections to places around the world. Are there challenges? Yes. Do we need order? Of course we do. Should we reform? Yes. But it should be within the overall framework of immigrants are not a problem. Our immigrant communities are part of what makes...
Unless they're, 89% of the Somalians up there. So, yeah, but you know what? I'm going to go ahead and keep saying illegal alien action. Being an illegal alien. I can say it. That was a song from Phil Collins about 30 years ago. And there was a video, and he wore a sombrero and a fake mustache. He was so racist. But they banned the song forever, and I'm bringing it back. It's a silly song. It's kind of a silly song, honestly, of all the songs that he did. Kind of silly. Here is a Kristi Noem, because the Democrat Party opened our southern border and didn't give a crap about the death and destruction and rape and murder and child sex trafficking and all, and fentanyl deaths. They didn't care. Democrats... Remember what I told you? Your party is nuts. Your party is intellectually, morally bankrupt. If you are sane, religious, patriotic, you need to tell your party to change or leave your party and start another one. I'm serious. But here's Kristi Noem with what happened in our southern border that Democrats don't want to bring up.
Left tries to tell us many times that it's somehow compassionate to allow that kind of chaos. It isn't. It was dangerous, not just on this side of the border, but on the Mexican side of the border as well.
Yeah, listen to this.
We saw many of those illegal migrants not be able to survive the brutal terrain. They didn't survive the river crossing. Those causes of death, of heat and water were dangerous. And the left behind so many bodies that in some counties along the border, they had to install migrant morgues just to pick up the dead bodies that were passed.
And the buzzards got fat. Yeah, that was a story I remember reading a couple years ago when Joe Biden was the president. The buzzards had too much flesh to feast on, human flesh.
Away on their way to try to get into the United States.
Yeah.
In fact, during the Biden administration and those open...
So many people were sexually molested as they came here and then traded as a human cargo. I mean... Unbelievable. In your Democrat Party, the Democrat Party was perfectly fine with it.
Border policies. We saw even the UN declare that the United States and Mexico border was the deadliest land route in the world. Countless people were sexually abused and trafficked over and over again and exploited. One story that I remember that impacted me so dramatically was a horrifying story of a father who paid a smuggler $1,000 to bring his wife and his 2-year-old daughter into the United States.
Yeah, what happened?
Once they got over the border, those smugglers took that mom and daughter into a stash house and kidnapped them and held them hostage for a ransom and said that father would not get them back unless he paid another $23,000 to them, and said if he did not immediately pay, that they would do things to his daughter that he couldn't even imagine. That was happening on a daily basis.
Yeah, 100%. The Democrat Party should be ashamed of itself, but they have no shame. They have no shame. By the way, one other story, and I haven't covered it, and I'm not going to cover it, is Savannah Guthrie's mother's abduction. I'm not going to cover it. Last night I watched some shows that I normally check in on every night, news programs, that devoted the entire hour to this. I am not going there. Because, first of all, number one concern, that woman and her security and what she's suffering through. It's none of my business. All I can do is hope and pray that she is better. And all that matters is her safety and security, then the family. And if this were your mother, you wouldn't want this story everywhere. I'm not going to partake in the story. I'm not going to share the story. The only thing I'm going to share is when they catch the bastards who did it and put them on trial. But until then, I think it is ghoulish, and grotesque, and I'm not going to cover the story. So if you want to hear that stuff, you want to go there. I didn't cover the John Benet Ramsey trial much either. Just no, or just the story in general, because there are some things I just don't think are my business. They're not my business, and I think it is, like I said, it's grotesque. Every last night, I said a prayer for this dear woman in her 80s, right at the denouement of her life, and somebody kidnaps her, untold suffering. She may already be gone. That's none of my business. It's none of my business. I'm just going to tell you. So if that's what you want, you ain't going to get it here. All right? But you know we're going to get at the bottom of the hour. Liz Colin, journalist from Minneapolis. I mean, like the John Solomon of Minneapolis. She is a lion of broadcast journalism. She's going to join us at the bottom of the hour. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show.
Winning and winning and never losing. Results that drive Nancy Pelosi to boozing. Chris Christie choking on buffalo wings. These are my favorite conservative things. Gas prices falling, inflation dropping. To our momentum, there is no stopping. An end to 8 wars, what joy that brings. These are a few of my favorite things. Reducing spending, securing the border, restoring faith in law and order, arresting a punk at a No Kings. These are my favorite conservative things. When Chuck Schumer makes me nauseous, when I'm feeling sad, I simply remember we're bombing drug folks, and that I don't feel so bad.
I am woman, not a man, despite this new transgender ban. Though my voice is deep and I've got facial hair, they ban me, but I'll be back. Bravery I do not lack. You don't have to tell me to grow a pair. Oh yes, I'm a girl. Against women I compete. People wanna hurl when I win another meet. Swimming medals, I will steal all of them. I have a beard. I've got testicles. I am woman. Venus says that I can't swim. They claim that I am a him. But I'll be back. Just you wait and see. Oh yes, I'm a she. I even wear a dress, though it's no mystery. The whole package I possess. But they banned me from everything. I have a brawn. I have a prostate gland. I am woman.
Got a new rejoin.
Who would not want voter ID? Only somebody that wants to cheat.
Come on. That's true. You know, it's interesting. The Democrats, when Joe Biden was the president, wanted to nationalize the elections to codify election theft. Now they're claiming that Donald Trump wants to nationalize elections because he wants to codify the election integrity. It doesn't make any sense because, they're just Democrats. That's all. In Minnesota mayors, this is pretty cool, actually, because Minnesota 3 times has voted for Donald Trump overall. What really blows things is Minneapolis and the corrupt DFL party, the Democrat Farmer Labor Communist Party. And Minnesota mayors, 250 mayors have signed on to a letter calling on state leaders to reverse course on their massive, massive corruption. There's a little community called Cross Lake. Cross Lake up there, I think it's north of Lake Minnetonka. I'm really not sure, though, because, I used to live there and everything. But Cross Lake Mayor Jackson Purefeast Purefeast. He spoke yesterday at a presser talking about the corruption, and I think it's wonderful that some people with common sense are finally speaking out. And this is not going to end well for Tim Roots and Keith Ellison and Ilhan Omar, who I hope is jailed and then deported penniless back to Somalia. Here he is talking about meeting with Tim Roots years ago. Tim Roots, very aware of the fraud.
Just as is alarming is the scale of fraud that has plagued Minnesota and tarnished our reputation nationwide. Yeah. Minnesotans are losing faith that accountability will ever come. Governor Walz visited Cross Lake, the city I'm proud to represent. Across the table, the message was consistent and clear. When pressed about the looming deficit, the governor acknowledged the Department of Human Services was being abused, that guardrails were lacking, and that counties were enrolling individuals into programs without sufficient oversight. Nope. On that point, the governor was right. But the acknowledgement raises an even more troubling question. If this abuse was known, why were stronger safeguards not put in place sooner?
Because they voted Democrat. Yep, that's the Somalis. They voted Democrat. That's why they kept it on the down low. And I think a lot of Democrats made some money off it, to be quite honest. David Koch, who went with Nick Shirley into Minneapolis, he was at Congress yesterday. And here he is talking about something that he noticed that started the ball rolling.
Most notably, the enormous number of child care facilities that had opened up. I would drive around the Twin Cities, and it seemed these child care facilities were literally on every block. Some blocks had 2 or 3 child care facilities on the same block. Minnesota sees a fair amount of snow in the winter, and I began to notice, driving by these child care facilities, there were never any footprints in the snow outside these child care facilities. And I'd go by them 3, 4, 5 times a day, Monday through Friday, because my office is in the heart of where a lot of these child care facilities are. So I said, well, what's going on here with all these child care facilities? So I began to check the Minnesota Secretary of State's website to find...
They're not child care centers, they're leering centers. Duh.
No, just who owned all these child care facilities, and guess what?
Who?
Every single one of them was Somali.
Well, that's racist. No, actually, not at all. He also said, years ago, the Democrat Party is a massive scheme. The Democrat Party wanted to be able to do this. And they brought in the Hmong community to accomplish it. The Hmong community arrived. They've been living there forever. And they were hardworking individuals. They would have nothing to do with this. So where did they go? They went, Somalia. Somalia is the armpit of the world, the meth lab trailer park of the world. And we'll bring in Somalians, and Somalians played. That's why 89% of them are on some sort of aid. And they have stolen it, and they've sent it back to Somalia. The biggest source of income for the country of Somalia is American welfare dollars. That's just the fact. Let's go back to this Cross Lake mayor to talk about the billions stolen in Minnesota and how it's impacting every municipality in Minnesota.
Hundreds of millions of dollars have already been proven stolen. Dozens of defendants have been charged by federal prosecutors, and systematic failures allowed it to happen. Not enough has been done by the governor, his administration, as well as our legislature to protect Minnesota taxpayers, protect counties, and restore confidence in state government.
Yeah. The Democrat Farmers and Laborers Party in Minnesota is a crime syndicate. They are a crime syndicate. They need to be disbanded, taken down, gutted, and people need to go to jail. There you go. David Koch again. Let's hear from David Koch again, talking about the oddness of all these Somali daycare centers.
What's even stranger is that every one of these facilities is located in a commercial or industrial building.
Yeah.
No play areas, bad neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And several of the child care facilities had signage which stated they were open either 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., 2 p.m. to 10 p.m., Quality Learning Center, for example, or open 24 hours. Who the heck brings their kid to stay overnight at a child care facility in a rough neighborhood? None of it made any sense.
And they're doing this all over the country. They're doing it with hospices in California, in strip malls and vacant buildings. It is remarkable, and it's the Democrat Party across the country. And it all came in during COVID. They used COVID as a way to put this thing into light speed to loot trillions of dollars from our treasury.
Fraud certainly exists in every community. It was the sheer volume and the blatant nature of the Somali fraud that demanded my attention.
Yeah.
When one facility, Mako Childcare, has another childcare, mini childcare, registered at the same address, but the sign still says Mako Childcare, it kind of stands out.
Yeah.
And again, no children, no footprints in the snow, ever. This is what I mean by being blatant. Misspelled signage, posted hours that require 2 licenses, no child footprints in the snow, not even once. We got here because of politicians, almost exclusively Democrats.
Yep.
A couple of names come to mind. Jody Harpstead, the former commissioner of the Department of Human Services, and Shireen Gandhi, the current commissioner of the Minnesota Department of Human Services. Harpstead put the whole fraud on steroids. She was steering the ship from 2019 to 2025 during the COVID-19 pandemic. Yeah. This is when the whole fraud network exploded into what we see nationally today, into what we see in my numbers, which are accurate.
Yeah. And by the way, Tim Volz knew it in 2018.
Minnesotans are left wondering how much more damage will be tolerated before real change actually occurs. As early as 2018, if not earlier, fraud was brought before congressional oversight committees in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, D.C.
The warnings were there, and the risks were clearly known. Minnesotans reasonably assumed that our governor and elected leaders would act, that they would confront fraud, prosecute those who stole from taxpayers, and put real safeguards in place to prevent it from ever happening again.
No, they didn't. It was national, the Democrat Party. And again, this is why you're Democrat Party. If you have any sense of morality, a moral compass of faith, common sense, and patriotism, you need to demand your Democrat Party turn around or just start another party. Again, I told you they're going to either have to be reinvented or disappear into the dustbin of history, and now they're spiraling into the dustbin. There you go. Liz Colin, lioness of journalism, joins us next. Don't go anywhere.
Hello, my name is Brian Delatry, and I started taking Relief Factor just about a year ago. I was having chronic knee pain over time. It just got worse and worse. Just walking downstairs was painful. Well, since I've taken Relief Factor, the results have been just amazing. I actually walk 4 miles a day, 5 to 6 days a week. No pain at all going downstairs. Very active playing golf, and it's been really just unbelievable in the change I've had in the pain in my knee. Hope that someone who's experienced the same type of pain gives Relief Factor a try. And I guarantee if you get the results that I have, you'll be very happy. I'm going to continue using the product because I am now pain-free.
Don't wait. If you're dealing with daily pain, launch your 3-week quick start and see what Relief Factor can do for you. Go to relieffactor.com. How will it feel to be out of pain?
Drugs transported by boat, Venezuela. You best take note. Cartels They're having fits, 'cause they're men, you fucking A. They were blown to bits. The drug boat, it now resides on the ocean floor. The drug boat, Marco says we're gonna take out more. Yes, their lives are in danger if they take another chance. 'Cause drugs, we won't tolerate. Shut it down before it's too late. No drugs. A boat that was filled with drugs.
Arrests ICE has made so far. How many have a criminal record versus those who are just in the country illegally?
All of them, because they illegally broke our nation's laws and therefore they are criminals.
She's no KJP. More like Kaylee and Sarah. Her first press briefing was strong. She deals in facts, not liberal propaganda. We have been lied to for so long. And raise your hand. Be polite, or she won't call on you. Meet Caroline, kicking butt and taking names. She's not inclined to let reporters play their games. Sweet Caroline.
We are literally creating a place that we know who's coming and going in and out of our neighborhoods.
In the middle of the road at 32nd and Cedar Avenue, a makeshift roadblock turned this intersection into a roundabout. Cars slowed as drivers noticed, some honked, others asked questions, and one man brought food for the people standing watch.
Hi, sir. Thank you so much.
How did it make you feel just seeing a community checkpoint in your neighborhood?
Well, you know, it felt fine. I don't have any trouble with folks helping out.
Well, I got to tell you, many Minnesota liberals are insane. I lived in Minneapolis in the mid-'90s, did mornings at KS95, everybody. And I recognized the liberal Karen back then. They would call my show and be offended by things that I said. And I called them the Dawn Patrol. And now they are patrolling neighborhoods and literally public streets and saying, it's my neighborhood, I'm going to control who comes in. And there's a cabal of them that actually check license plate. It's nuts. And more nuts than I could have ever imagined. Liz Colin, who I like to call a lioness of journalism, joins us on the Newsmax hotline. Liz, how are you today?
Hey, I'm doing well. Thanks for reaching out. Always good to be back on the show, Rob.
Liz, what you're doing is so good.
They've changed.
What you're doing is so good. What you're doing is so good. I mean, better. You worked at CCO up there forever, and I, like I said, I used to live in Minneapolis. I used to love doing the Nicollet Mall Winter Parade, even when it was 30 below zero, and and I loved it. They go down to do Acme Comedy, and do open mic night down there and everything. But what the hell has happened to Minneapolis? Now you've got checkpoints where people are, and it sounds like it goes all the way to the lieutenant governor of the state, possibly using state resources to check on people coming into town. James O'Keefe came into town. They followed him to his hotel. Then he went to another hotel. Then they said, get out of town in an hour or we're going to kill you. What the hell, Liz?
Yeah, people are always asking me these questions, but I will say that the majority, this is not the majority of us. I just want to make that disclaimer. Yeah. It is good job security, however, Rob, but these last couple months I haven't really seen anything quite like it, and I've seen a lot in my time as a Minnesota reporter, more than 20 years or just right about that at this point. But yes, we have the checkpoints. I will say it looks like they have gone down for now.
Yes.
But I know there's another movement that's been posted for them to go back up on Saturday, and they'd like to see more of them. But we did hear from Border Czar Tom Homan yesterday talking about a little bit of a drawdown, taking out 700 ICE agents, or federal agents anyway, from numerous agencies out of Minnesota, but 2,000 remain here. Yeah. And so far they've netted about 4,000 illegal aliens here in Minnesota, which is a number I think many of us were happy to see. But yes, all eyes continue to be on Minnesota, no doubt.
Well, it sounds like, and I was concerned the other day. I think a lot of people were hoping, because, we're Americans, we like it when Americans kick butt. We were hoping Insurrection Act kick the hippies' butts, and all that. But it looks like Donald Trump pulled a masterful move and kind of defused the rage machine that had been building in Minneapolis, calmed things down quite a bit. And then now we've even got some cooperation with federal authorities doing what they should do, turning over illegals as they leave custody. How's that looking, by the way?
Yeah, we heard that announcement yesterday from Tom Homan. He basically phrased it as cooperation, unprecedented levels of cooperation that were happening at the county jails. Then we have the political pandering that goes into full effect from certain individuals, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry being one of them, and also reaching out to comment for just the jails in Hennepin and Ramsey. Those are the folks that seem to have the biggest issue with this, just saying, hey, is this true, or are you guys going to open up the jails, and not really getting much of a clear answer. But I do get the sense that law enforcement across the state is very frustrated by this situation, knowing that this is not hard. I mean, I think they've made, 10 times the amount of arrests in Texas and have had nothing like the blowback that Minnesota has experienced. So I think there is some middle ground, but I think still some ways to.
I used to live in Uptown, and then I lived in Aldrich in South Minneapolis. I can't imagine what this is doing for business people coming to Minnesota. I would never consider living in Minnesota ever again, particularly Minneapolis. It's a damn shame. But there are, listen, Brooklyn Center and all the Edina, all of these areas. How do those people feel about this nonsense? How do they feel? How do they feel about a church being raided with Don Lemon? I mean, how do they feel about that?
Let me give you just a little glimpse into Minneapolis business. I'm not sure if you saw this news, but the Minneapolis City Council has delayed giving the liquor license to a couple of hotels in Minneapolis that have housed ICE agents over the last couple of months. That's how crazy this has become. I know that there's suburban places of business that are actually reaching out to ICE to support them in their work, and other places in Minnesota as well. We actually saw, it was kind of interesting, yesterday there was a press conference with several dozen mayors are a part of this group in Minnesota, but they came forward and just said, you got to keep the focus on fraud, and that's what really has to be fixed here. These cities are, in near crisis situations also with their budgets. And this stuff isn't cheap. What they have going on at this point, somebody has to pay for all of it. But there's just, I think, a large level of frustration. Somebody sent me a picture today of a sweatshirt that was being sold at the airport at MSP, and it says like Minnesota versus everyone else.
Yeah,
and I don't think that's really not some sort of great flex at all. We don't want to be against everyone.
It just really sucks. It really does. Cross Lake Mayor Jackson Purefeast. I saw him yesterday. 250 mayors have signed on to a letter calling on state leaders because they are going bankrupt. These little communities are going back, and they're just bloody tired of it. That's a hell of a lot of mayors, Liz. This is big.
Yeah, and they were basically saying, you know what, we're kind of sick of this talk. We want arrests. We want people to be fired. I mean, there's no really accountability so far. And just back to what you were saying about even that St. Paul church protest, that horrific event that unfolded a couple of weeks ago now, it took the feds to come in and charge them. I mean, this is something that Ramsey County clearly should have done, but they are so wrapped up in the radical left-wing ideology. Instead, they had a press conference not that long ago where they were announcing that they would be basically investigating federal agents for anything that they were doing, and that's what Hennepin County, their messaging has been as well. It's this, they want to pit the state of Minnesota against the federal government, but the majority of people want nothing to do with this messaging and this dangerous rhetoric that has been peddled almost from day one here.
Unbelievable. Liz, can you hold through the break? I've got many more questions I'd like to ask you. I know you're very busy. Would you mind?
Yeah, sure thing.
Lovely, lovely. More with Liz Colin on the Rob Carson Show right after this. Don't go anywhere. All right.
We got here because of politicians, almost exclusively Democrats. A couple of names come to mind. Jody Harpstead, the former commissioner of the Department of Human Services, and Shireen Gandhi, the current commissioner of the Minnesota Department of Human Services. Harpstead put the whole fraud on steroids. Wow. She was steering the ship from 2019 to 2025 during the COVID-19 pandemic. This is when the whole fraud network exploded into what we see nationally today, into what we see in my numbers, which are accurate.
Yeah, ground zero for this fraud. It sounds like it's nationwide. California, now New York. They're saying $115 billion in Medicaid. Kathy Hochul said 50% of the population on Medicaid. Clearly, a lot of that is graft. You saw it on the SNAP benefits and whatnot, and all over Minnesota. Liz Colin joins us on the Newsmax hotline. She's been on in the driver's seat covering a lot of these stories. The Democrat Farmers Laborers Party, I've always despised that name, and now it just seems like they're an organized crime family.
Yeah, I think a lot of farmers want out of that title. I've heard that. Before.
It's a hammer and sickle party.
But yeah, a lot of people have been saying, this anti-ICE push in Minnesota has just been a smoke screen for fraud, and you definitely see that. It seems like the people who are messaging the loudest when it comes to getting ICE out of the state do have the most to hide, perhaps about their involvement with the fraud. But I will say the feds have made it clear that they have a team of attorneys here working on the fraud case, and these fraud cases are not easy. They do take quite a bit of time, no matter how obvious it seems that there are empty daycares and autism centers and whatnot. But I know that there is a lot of work involved. But I am hopeful that it seems like there will be some sort of.
I want to see some people go to jail.
Been long awaited.
I want to see Keith Ellis go to damn jail, and I want to see Ilhan Omar serve some time in jail, then be booted penniless back to Somalia. That's what I want to see. That's what a lot of people want to see. The other day I saw Jacob Fry whining that hotel bookings are down and businesses down for Somali businesses, and I'm like, who the hell would want to visit Minneapolis right now? Really, you're gonna?
They're not doing much to help their case.
Really? What is it like? I mean, nobody's got to want to go there. What's the downtown like? The downtown used to be vibrant. Uptown, where I lived at Uptown, used to be vibrant. It was left to center. There were a lot of gauged ears and purple hair. But I mean, and I hear it's a wasteland.
Yeah, I'll just say from personal experience. I mean, I do quite a bit of work still in the Minneapolis area. We're right outside of Minneapolis over at Alpha News.
Yeah.
But no, the downtown, uptown, they are just skeletons of themselves. In fact, the hairdresser that I went to for about 20 years, he was the last to leave uptown. That used to be known as like the hair district, and there were dozens of salons there. They are literally all closed. Very few restaurants that even remain there at all. In the uptown area, and downtown really is a ghost town. I mean, you did have a Target protest. I guess maybe that went ahead and revitalized the area last week. As people are harassing shoppers in Target stores.
That's
that
smart.
has also been an ongoing trend.
What the hell is up with that? What the hell is up with crazy Karens going to the store they shop at, and they think Target has something to do with rounding up illegals? What kind of sense does that make? If I were Target, I'd leave the damn city, to be quite honest. I mean, they're a woke company, but I would leave the Twin Cities.
You get the impression though that Target, they did get kind of wrapped up in this woke culture before.
Yeah, I know.
And they learned their lesson. This is when they were, selling some crazy undergarments for children.
Yeah, tuckable swimwear for boys. Yeah, real smart.
Yeah,
smart.
Yeah, and they received quite a bit of backlash for that. And I will say that they seem to be more neutral nowadays, which is why they're being targeted.
Targeted. It's remarkable. Yeah. It's remarkable. Jesse Ventura, I used to compete with him. I worked for Hubbard Broadcasting. He worked on the AM Talker, and I worked at KS95. He suggested that that Minnesota secede from the Union. I've never been a big fan of the man. I think he's kind of a jerk, to be quite honest, most of the time. But how did people react to that?
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened to him. I mean, I've interviewed him several times in my career. Yeah. He seems very upset. He was at a school recently that had some ICE activity, and I don't think he spends that much time in Minnesota.
No.
But yeah, I think perhaps maybe copious amounts of marijuana have not done his brain well, and just go out on a limb.
And steroids. Mall of America. I used to love to go to Mall of America, and there was Camp Snoopy in the middle of it. Is it Camp Mogadishu now?
Yeah, the Mall of America always has a few highlights, no doubt. But yeah, it is a very different state, and people have said, this election is really going to be quite telling. But Rob, better than anyone here. So everybody's thinking, okay, this is going to be great. Walz is, maybe Walz has announced obviously that he's not running. So now we have Amy Klobuchar, who's basically been on scene as long as Tim Walz has been.
Yep.
And her messaging has been a little odd lately as well. Obviously, has to embrace the anti-ICE movement, but from what we're hearing, she didn't even do that well during the caucus night that was just on.
No, and David Hoke says
people want more. Want a candidate more to the left of her.
Well, David Hoke also said that he's got a lot of dirt on her and her corruption, and she knew all about all this nonsense. Mm-hmm. Do you suppose there's any possibility that I don't know if what's his name from My Pillow is the guy, but is there a possibility that the State House could turn, or the governorship?
Yeah, I mean, I think that
I hope so.
It seems like the legislative, the House and Senate, they would hold. Perhaps, I mean, I don't ever want to predict Minnesota politics.
Yeah.
But Amy Klobuchar just has the name recognition and has really been kind of this institution in Minnesota, so that obviously works in her favor. But absolutely, you're right. Just timeline wise, where has she been? There's no way that she wasn't aware of this, and also just the 180 she's taken with her ICE messaging is amazing. She always talked about keeping the borders closed and deporting illegal aliens before. Not anymore. That's very different from even what she was saying 5-6 years ago.
What do you work by before we wrap things up, Liz Colin? What are you working on right now? What can we look forward to hearing from you?
Actually putting up a story today about an ICE drill that took place at the University of Minnesota involving students there. So this is a teacher who thought it was a good idea to teach her students, this is an education course there, about how to go about hiding students if ICE were to come to the classroom door, and then using your body as a human shield if you're white to get in the way of ICE agents. I know you think that I'm making this up, Rob, but that is my next story to post on Alpha News.
It used to be an ice drill was what you drilled through the ice with to go ice fishing in Minnesota.
Yeah, so we have active shooter drills, fire drills, and now in Minnesota there are ice drills. But yeah, I don't think the University of Minnesota is none too happy to ever hear from reporters over at Alpha News. So we do find though that a lot of times, when attention is brought on these things, that there are changes that made. So there's many brave people and normal people in Minnesota. I just want to get that message across.
Where can people find all your glorious work, by the way?
Head over to alphanews.org, and also we are Alpha News MN, that's for Minnesota, on YouTube. You can check out all our videos there as well. It's an endless supply of material.
You are glorious. You are absolutely glorious. Thank you so much for your time today, Liz. I'm a big admirer. I appreciate you. We'll talk again soon, okay?
Sounds good. Thanks so much, Rob.
You bet. Let's take a break and come back. It's the Rob Carson Show. She is phenomenal. Who's got the back problem over here on the Rumbly Roo? Oh, by the way, you're YouTubers. I'm going to call you YouTubers. I'm not going to call you the other name that I came up with because, it wasn't working. YouTubers. But they were talking, somebody has a spinal issue, and I said you need an inversion table. If you have a lower back, or if you have like sciatica, inversion table, because sciatica is made worse by what? What's the thing that makes sciatica absolutely unbearable? Gravity. Boom. Nerve. Boom. Nerve. When you hang upside down, that's what you do. Inversion table. It's marvelous. Traction also works, but you can't do that at home. YouTubers like goobers? No, Mickey, no. I'm just going to call you YouTubers. I'm going to call you guys YouTubers. I think it's good. America Marcy, what up? How you doing? I'm I'm trying to read all of your conversation. You guys are talking so much, I can't keep up. I love the groups that you guys are in, that all of you are talking about. Oh, the prayer breakfast. I got to find out what the president said at the prayer breakfast today. We need it more than ever, right? I'm really starting to pray more. I need to, and it's powerful stuff. It's powerful stuff. Oh, Rumbly Ruse. My God, look at all you guys. Good call, Rob. Yeah, isn't she great? Isn't she good? Roundup Pony says, I have an inversion table. Yeah, I just have to get back to use it. Yeah, inversion table is really, does a lot of great stuff, man. I'm telling you. Also, turmeric. Here we go.
I'm 2:45 here.
Oh, I've got something next hour. Eric Schmitt goes after this guy with an organization called Public Citizen, and it is a George Soros-funded NGO. And I'll tell you, I have never seen Eric Schmitt go like, I'll give you a little sample. Because I assembled this before the show because it's so bloody good.
And it's not 2020 anymore. The American people are over it. So what you're going to find is we're going to prosecute, and it has nothing to do with race. We're going to prosecute because fraud was committed on a level that is so offensive to this country. Your words that don't mean anything aren't going to stop what's coming.
Listen.
And I want you to take that back to George Soros and all these ridiculous funders you have to try to muddle the issue. Because justice is coming. And by the way, if I have it my way, we will denaturalize all these fraudsters and send them home.
So run, you cur.
Run! Tell all the other curs the law is coming! You tell them I'm coming! And hell's coming with me, you hear? Hell's coming with me!
There you go. Oh, I love it, man. I want to see denaturalize these people like Soros. I want to see Soros extradited to America and go up on treason charges. Yeah, 100%. By the way, millions of people are turning into Newsmax. If you haven't watched Newsmax lately, people have been bugging me about Carl Higbee's monologue last night. I hear it's fantastic. Haven't had a chance to see it, but I'm telling you, Newsmax is such a welcome change from all of the other news out there. You know, I saw a little bit of Waters last night on Fox. He was all about the abduction of Savannah Guthrie's mom, and I'm like, no. I'm not watching TMZ. But if you watch Newsmax, you watch Rob Finnerty, Rob Schmitt, Carl Higbee, you are going to get such good commentary, news, common sense, interviews. They get the best interviews. They get the best stuff out of their guests on Newsmax. You've got to go to Newsmax. I mean it, guys. It's a great organization. I'm proud to be a part of it. I've been working there for 6 years. So get a Newsmax Plus membership, download the Newsmax app, make it a place to go, a destination every day from morning, noon to night. Do it. Newsmax kicks butt. Thank you very much. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show.
Hold it now.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Hour number 3 of the Rob Carson Show. And what a show it has been. My goodness. You probably want to listen to the podcast if you missed anything thus far, because Liz Colin was spectacular at the bottom of last hour talking about all the fraud in Minnesota. Alpha News is who she works for. She's phenomenal. Phenomenal. This hour, Morgan Murphy, national security analyst, U.S. Navy captain, former White House Trump official, joins us to talk about Greenland, China, Russia, ICE, Iran, all of that. The bottom of this hour. It's kind of cool. We do more than just, issues here. We also try to entertain you a little bit. In case you wanted to know a little bit, I don't know if you know this, but, looks like old Bill Clinton, he's going to have to testify because James Comer whipped out his subpoena, and so he's got to come in and talk about the Epstein files and all of that stuff. Here's Donald Trump yesterday talking to NBC reporter about it.
NBC News broke the story today. I don't know if you saw it, that the Democrats are already saying if you bring President Bill Clinton and he has to testify, we're bringing President Trump. What do you say to that?
I think they might say that, but they've already brought me. See, I've been brought. They had me indicted many times. Yeah. Many times.
And the president had some surprising thoughts about former President Bill Clinton.
It bothers me that somebody's going after Bill Clinton. See, I like Bill Clinton. I still like Bill Clinton.
What do you like about him?
I liked his behavior toward me. I thought he got me. He understood me. He was the one that said very famously that you don't want to run against Trump when there were 18 people. There was 18 people, including me, total. Yeah. And he kept telling them, you don't want to run against Trump. Run against anyone. Don't run against Trump. And Hillary sort of laughed at him.
Yeah, he pretty benevolent with Bill Clinton. I'm not a big fan. Jim Gossett did this as Bill Clinton on the Rob Carson Show.
What now for us?
Come on.
Hillary's worry. We had to agree.
Come on.
To testify. Comer had us over a barrel.
Which you normally
must say that he's a tenacious guy. If I tell the truth about Epstein, about each and every single team,
beautiful,
I'll go to jail. Hillary too.
Ooh, that would be kind of fun.
I don't know what I'm gonna do. What now for us? Now we have no choice but go to D.C. and testify.
Come on. Yeah, I'd love to be
we have to lie.
Well, you're good at that. That is Jim Gossett, by the way. He's brilliant, by the way. And if you want to help him out, he's got there's a website called Patreon.com, and it's a way you can support creators. No matter what they do. And so it's Patreon.com. Jim Gossett Comedy. Just look it up, okay? And if you can give him $10, $20 a month, whatever, he's going to send you a couple of these beautiful pieces of satire. And I used to write for Limbaugh, and I was there before Paul Shanklin, thank you very much. And I worked with Paul Shanklin for a while. And Jim Gossett, I just, not to besmirch Paul Shanklin, but nowhere near as prolific as Jim Gossett. Jim Gossett is a friggin' genius. And listen, I don't run other people's comedy. I've always written my own comedy for everything I do. It's sacrosanct. First show I've ever done where I work with him, I come up with songs that we collaborate, and then I just trust him to just create, and I run his comedy. That's a big deal for me. He's that good. So patreon.com, Jim Gossett Comedy. Yesterday at a Senate Judiciary Committee hearing, Senator Eric Schmitt from Missouri questioned Robert Weissman, co-president of Public Citizen. And they were. It's an oversight hearing, and he was highlighting his White House endorsed Stop Citizen Abuse and Misrepresentation (SCAM) Act to denaturalize individuals that commit fraud and other serious felonies, like Ilhan Omar allegedly, after they swore their oath of citizenship. So you come here, you commit fraud and all this bull crap. You can have your citizenship stripped and be sent out the country. And I think it's fantastic, by the way. And here is Eric Schmitt going after this guy from Public Citizen. And they always use racism. They racism. If you criticize, Ilhan Omar, you're racist. I'm going to let this just roll because it is absolutely fantastic. And it's what you've been wanting to hear from a congressman about this.
Are deportations racist?
Are deportations racist? It depends. They can be racist, for sure.
Is ICE racist?
I think the practices of ICE right now are abhorrent and should be abhorrent, exactly as you said, for American values. I think the practices of ICE right now are...
But ICE itself, the organization, is a racist.
The enforcing immigration and customs laws per se is not racist. What ICE actually is doing, I believe, can fairly be characterized as racist.
All right. I asked this because we did a little bit of digging into Public Citizen and found two things. One is you're funded by George Soros, correct?
The Open Society Foundation is one of our funders, yes.
And you call just about everything you don't like racist.
Yes.
That is not true. But
okay, well, I'm going to give you a few examples.
Here we go.
On December 11th, 2019, Public Citizen tweeted that the banking sector as a whole is racist.
Yeah.
On August 17th, 2021, Public Citizen sent in a press release that algorithmic racism was a major problem and that we need to start creating anti-racist algorithms. On December 23rd, 2020, Public Citizen tweeted that our healthcare system is a racist abomination. On April 7th, 2023, Public Citizen tweeted that expelling two Tennessee state reps for violating the legislature's rule was racism.
Racism.
On April 15th, 2021, Public Citizen tweeted that law enforcement in this country has been overrun by racism.
Yes.
On June 25th, 2020, Public Citizen tweeted, racism is the reason D.C. is not a state.
Yeah.
On January 15th,
2019,
Public Citizen tweeted that asking about citizenship status on the census was racist.
Blah, 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 blah.
On August 24th, 2020, Public Citizen tweeted, defund our racist, hyper-militarized, murderous American police force.
Wow.
On July 10th, 2020, Public Citizen tweeted that law and order is a racist dog whistle.
Oh, dear God. Wow.
Do you stand by these statements?
Well, I appreciate the depths of which you've gone of research. In the context of all those statements, yes, sir.
So all of those things are racist?
If you want to go through them, we can talk.
So here's, I'm really glad. Hold on.
Listen,
I'm glad for this moment of clarity because a lot of witnesses would try to sidestep that.
Here it comes.
That's correct.
But what you have shown in the questioning we've seen before, and just these examples, the public interest isn't your interest at all. It is not your interest at all. You use racism as an attempt to intimidate people to get your way. And it's not 2020 anymore. The American people are over it. So what you're going to find is we're going to prosecute, and it has nothing to do with race. We're going to prosecute because fraud was committed on a level that is so offensive to this country, your words that don't mean anything aren't going to stop what's coming.
Come on.
And I want you to take that back to George Soros and all these ridiculous funders you have to try to muddle the issue because justice is coming. And by the way, if I have it my way, we will denaturalize all these fraudsters and send them home.
Oh,
Mr. Chairman,
my goodness. This is why I did this earlier. I'm going to go ahead and play it again because that is one of the best takedowns I have ever heard from a senator, from a filthy, rotten, corrupt director of a frickin' NGO think tank that is communistic. Everybody knows George Soros has been trying to destroy America. He has cost lives. He has caused billions of dollars in damage. He and Neville Singham have wrecked our country. They've tried to overthrow our government, and it's about time this happened.
And it's not 2020 anymore. The American people are over it. So what you're going to find is we're going to prosecute, and it has nothing to do with race. We're going to prosecute because fraud was committed on a level that is so offensive to this country. Your words that don't mean anything aren't going to stop what's coming.
Yes.
And I want you to take that back to George Soros and all these ridiculous funders you have to try to muddle the issue. Because justice is coming. And by the way, if I have it my way, we will denaturalize all these fraudsters and send them home.
Come on.
So run, you turd.
Run! Tell all the other curs the law is coming! You tell them I'm coming! And hell's coming with me, you hear? Hell's coming with me!
I love it. I just love it. That is the accountability we have waited years to hear. The reason why Donald Trump is the president is because we wanted accountability for all of the abuses and usurpations caused by people like him and his organization and the Democrat Party. They are so terrified of it, they call it retribution. And now their time has come. It has come, and hell is coming with us. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show.
With talent on loan from God. And have my brain tied behind my back, to be fair.
You were the sunshine of our life, Rush. That's why we'll miss you oh so much.
You know, I'm the mayor of Realville here.
You cut down liberals like a knife, Rush.
El Rushball.
Forever you'll be number one.
I am Rush Limbaugh, household name.
America needed a hero
in all four corners of the world.
And then you came to our rescue.
The Limbaugh Institute for Advanced Conservative Studies.
Competition, you had zero. How could so much talent be inside of you?
And don't doubt it.
You were the sunshine of our life, Rush. That's why we listened every day.
That's it. It's not much more complicated than that.
You helped us get through all the strife, Rush. No one will ever take your place. Because Rush was the sunshine.
All audience expectations every day behind this, the Golden EIB microphone.
Well, I'm gonna pay a visit. I'm headed to the Everglades. Gonna see a brand new prison for folks arrested in ICE raids. I hear it's already getting all kinds of accolades. Alligator Alcatraz, it's where illegals will be kept. We're cracking down unlike Biden, who was totally inept. It is something that the liberals in Florida cannot accept. California Alcatraz, I want to open that one too. Just imagine the hard time that real criminals will do. Alligator Alcatraz, I'm gonna take a tour of you.
We're eating pickles from the dollar store, hot pockets from the Dollar General, chicken wings expired yesterday. We're eating pickles from the dollar store, hot pockets from the Dollar General, chicken wings expired yesterday.
rejoin?
Okay.
Donald Trump's election.
No!
It's the gift that keeps on giving. It's the Rob Carson Show.
You know, they had that second round of idiotic No Kings protests featuring Karens, this summer. And, for a while I was like yelling out the window at them and stuff, trying, hey, you're a moron, whatever. And instead what I did is I have this unbelievable sound system that I put in my Bronco. The whole tailgate is a subwoofer. And I rolled down the windows and I played YMCA. I cranked it up, YMCA. Oh, man, they were harpies from hell. They were like shrieking like, they'd had water thrown on them, and they're the Wicked Witch of the West. It is spectacular. Spectacular. So yesterday was a bloodbath at the Washington Post. The Washington Post, which has been, listen, I find the Washington Post to be tedious. I always have. I never read it when I was in Washington, D.C. I moved here to 2004 and lived here to 2014. Never read the Washington Post. It was a piece of crap then, super piece of crap now. And the reason being is because it is just spewed the talking points to the left, and it has spiraled into hell and lost all of its readership. It's very small. It's like NPR. There's a bridge that was built here in Washington, D.C. since I left. It's a suspension bridge. It open and closes. And one of the reasons why it opened and closes is because there's a printing plant for the Washington Post on the banks of the Potomac. And the barges that they were bringing in with the paper for the Washington Post needed to go under so they needed to open the bridge. I'm not kidding. That's what happened, right? But now nobody is reading the damn thing, and they're freaking out about it. This is from Gutfeld last night about the Washington Post.
It's a money thing, and when you're actively throwing piles of money onto a fire, you stop. Like I was laughing out loud when I found out the Washington Post had a sports section.
I know.
Who's like, oh my gosh, I have to catch up on last night's ball game. Hand me the Washington Post. Let's see what happened with local sports team. My God, the Redskins. Can we do something about that name? I can't bear to read it. It's horrible. Then they had a big uproar because they weren't going to go to cover the Olympics, and that's like their only hope of ever getting laid. Right? you show up at the Winter Olympics, you can claim to be on a team. Like, you don't write for the Post. No, I'm a luge guy. I'm a luge guy.
I'm a loser. There you go. Yeah, there's that. You could. I mean, if you wanted to, you could easily lie your way into what is it that Brian? What's the sport where they take the big stone, and they slide them on the ice? I can't remember the name right now. I'm drawing a blank on it. There's some winter sports you could be fat and whatever and not in great shape and be an Olympic athlete. What do they call that? You're screaming at your radio now. I know you are. I know you're screaming at it. Here is CNN lamenting with a former Washington Post employee. And the reason why they've spiraled into death spirals, same reason that CNN has spiraled into a death spiral, same reason MS Now became MSNBC, or MSNBC became MS Now, and they fired people, Don Lemon, Joy Reid, Jim Acosta, all of these, Chris Cuomo, they've all been fired because they just became tools of the state. That's all. They just became tools of the state. No matter what the state did, no matter how absurd it was, they carried the water of the state, and they just worked to destroy Donald Trump and others. And people see it, and they don't trust them anymore. Listen to the sadness. Listen to the sadness.
Sally, what is your reaction to these layoffs?
I think the only word I can say is grief.
Now, I want you to listen to the end of this because she literally steers into why everybody was fired, and she doesn't understand it.
Everybody's in a state of grief. It's really like in the last year, it's just been one funeral after the other. We've had nothing but going away parties, people being laid off, people taking the buyout, people just quitting. And
Sally Quinn is her name, by the way.
It's just tragic what's happening to the Washington Post, and I don't. There's nobody who doesn't feel that way. It's not just me. It's not just the people at the Post, but it's everybody in journalism. My colleagues at the New York Times are just as upset as anybody because
yes, Because the New York Times is dying too. Because they did the same thing that CNN did, the same thing that the Washington Post did. You could heal it. You could fix it. Do you know who the most popular journalists in America are right now? Matt Taibbi, Michael Schellenberger, Liz Colin, John Solomon. What do they have in common? They tell the truth.
Because they don't want to see journalism dying, and they certainly don't want to see the Washington Post dying. The Washington Post is an institution.
Journalism is not dying. Your brand of journalism is dying, is dead. John Solomon is kicking butt right now. Liz Colin kicking butt. Matt Taibbi kicking butt. Nick Shirley kicking butt. Telling the truth.
Just like the New York Times. And the idea of having the paper just wither away is just so sad.
No, not really. You blew it, man. You know, in the words of Kelly Clarkson, you had your chance, you blew it. You know, there you go. I used to do music radio for many, many years, by the way. Many years. The NBC, a pretty good interview with Donald Trump, actually, last night. Here's Donald Trump being asked about, is he concerned for his own safety?
You survived that assassination attempt that we all covered. It was terrible, 2 of them. Do you worry about your safety? I mean, you think about the ball. You do?
I worry about it, but you have to put it out of your mind. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to do your job.
You didn't think about it as much before. Now you think about it a lot.
Maybe it could be. I mean, you look statistically, I'm in a very dangerous job.
Yeah.
I mean, if you take a look at the walls, if you take a look, statistically, this is a much more dangerous job than being a race car driver or riding those Broncos. Those bulls are tough, right? But I wouldn't want to do that. But statistically, being president...
The media, the day after Donald Trump was nearly assassinated, shot in the ear, they blamed him for it. Whoopi Goldberg made fun of the, tampon, the maxi pad on his ear to stop the blood. He was the only leader in world history to stand up after an assassination attempt, lift his hand to the sky and say, fight, fight, fight. And if you cannot recognize the bravery it took to do that, honestly, there's a reason why you are no longer in journalism. And for the rest of you, honestly, to hell with you. Because it crystallized us. This is Trump talking about the machine they used, the discombobulator, to go after Maduro.
You talked about the weapon, the discombobulator. What
discombobulator, well, I'm not allowed to talk about it. But
what does it do?
Let me just tell you, you know what it does? None of their equipment works. That's what it does. No. Everything it was my name. I'm very proud of the name. Everything was discombobulated. It was, practically a shot wasn't, they were ready.
Right.
And when we came, they couldn't do anything.
You saw this in the video. You could tell.
Tom, it discombobulated everything.
Wow.
Nothing worked, even including humans.
Well, let's put it this way. We lost no equipment in a very strong, and they're good fighters, great fighters. In a very bad environment, it was a military base, the biggest in South America. Because the house was in a base in South, in a very, very tough environment, we lost no men and we lost no equipment.
Meanwhile, if it was Joe Biden's military, it'd be a guy in a dress walking in going, "Hey, sailor!" Distracting him, and then, of course, all of our forces would die. But not so much when we got American military that kicks some butt, and so does the president, and so does the DOD, the head of the DOD, Mr. Hegseth. Second break and come back. Joining us on the other side, Morgan Murphy, national security analyst. Don't go anywhere.
Hello, my name is Brian Delatry, and I started taking Relief Factor just about a year ago. I was having chronic knee pain over time. It just got worse and worse. Just walking downstairs was painful. Well, since I've taken Relief Factor, the results have been just amazing. I actually walk 4 miles a day, 5 to 6 days a week. No pain at all going downstairs. Very active playing golf, and it's been really just unbelievable in the change I've had in the pain in my knee. Hope that someone who's experienced the same type of pain gives Relief Factor a try. And I guarantee if you get the results that I have, you'll be very happy. I'm going to continue using the product because I am now pain-free.
Don't wait. If you're dealing with daily pain, launch your 3-week quick start and see what Relief Factor can do for you. Go to relieffactor.com. How will it feel to be out of pain?
You talked about the weapon, the discombobulator. What is that?
Discombobulator. Well, I'm not allowed to talk about it. But
what does it do?
Let me just tell you, you know what it does? None of their equipment works. That's what it does.
Did anybody else think of this when you heard the discombobulator?
Where's the kaboom? There was supposed to be an earth-shattering kaboom. The Illudium Q-36 explosive space modulator. Yeah. That creature has stolen the space modulator.
There you go. That is Marvin the Martian. Anybody else, when you were growing up, if you're a Generation Xer, after school, what was there to watch on the networks? There was Gilligan's Island, Brady Bunch, maybe Hogan's Heroes, and Looney Tunes. Looney Tunes, I've seen them all. There's a channel that just has Looney Tunes on my YouTube TV. And you can just watch Looney Tunes. And they're still uncensored. They're the stuff where, Daffy Duck gets his bill blown off with a shotgun. I love it, man. I love it. It's the Illudium Q-36 explosive space modulator. Space modulator is what they call it. Yeah. Used to love that, man. We were waiting for a call from Morgan Murphy. I'm not sure what's going on. Could be in the scheduling conflict or whatever. That's fine. If he does join us, then he joins us. In the meantime, I do have some things. Here's something we haven't done in a while. A Catch the Stupid update. Stupid people.
Just plain stupid.
Stupid as stupid does, Miss Blue.
Who got stupid?
Yeah, here's something stupid.
To have a good time.
We're finally getting past the politically correctness stuff, You couldn't say illegal alien. There are a lot of words you couldn't say forever in a country that has the First Amendment. And I've always said that, obviously, the First Amendment is there to protect unpopular, offensive speech. Because if you just say something is offensive, honestly, really, you know what? I don't care. I don't care if you're offended by me. Honestly, I don't. I don't try to be offensive. Sometimes people will say, hey, you said something really... I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you found it offensive. What does you being offended mean to me? Nothing. Okay? Now, if it's something where I really say something that I should not have said, or I, whatever, there are sometimes I would, but generally, if you're very left of center, like last night there's a little jazz club near my home, and I love to go up there, and they had a guy playing the vibes last night, then they had an acoustic guitar player and an acoustic bass, and I got to talking to these two millennial couples who were sitting next to me, and the husbands are great. There's one guy's got a beard, and he works. He sells. He does podcast marketing. So I gave him a business card, and his girlfriend was very nice. She was very nice. She was not back going crazy. Then on the other side was another guy, and then the woman, and you could tell she was a commie lib. And I said, what do you do? And she's like, would not tell me, because she saw Newsmax on the business card, and you could tell she was offended. And I said, oh, I work at Newsmax, and I'm a conservative. I don't care if you're offended. That's what I said. I don't care if you're offended. If you want to listen, you can listen to it. If you don't, you're fine. I don't care. I don't care.
We have Morgan Murphy.
Oh, we got Morgan Murphy. I was going to continue with the story. Morgan Murphy joins us on the Newsmax hotline for the very first time. National security expert, U.S. Navy captain, the former White House Trump official. Welcome to the show, my friend. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hey, Rob, it's great to be with you. Thanks for having me on.
Well, I saw some of your bio, and I'm like, I got to talk to this guy. Fantastic. A lot of things I want to talk to you. First and foremost, Iran. There's some high-level talks going on with Iran, the Ayatollah, and what is it about radical Islamists? They just don't know when the hell to shut up, and they just keep tempting fate and poking. Every time they say something like, we will destroy America, they get the snot bombed out of them. And here they are, screwing with Donald Trump. They sent a drone near the aircraft carrier, and we shot it down, and then they tried to take over an oil tanker, and then they're shooting a damn mouth off again. What do you think is going to happen? And I would assume one of the subjects of these talks is we'll come to the table when you leave, when the Ayatollah leaves. What do you think?
I think you're right, and I think the Ayatollah and his entire regime has been on a suicide kamikaze path with us since the regime's very inception. They call us the Great Satan. They make no secret of their hatred of the United States and the West and everything that we hold dear as Americans. We don't have any common values with the leadership of Iran. We do have a lot of common values with the people of Iran who are suffering terribly under this regime. And I think the most critical thing about this entire conflict, and really how Trump has upended the chessboard and sent pieces flying all over the globe, is Iran is a key ally of Russia and China. And so taking Iran off of the chessboard really puts the squeeze on both Russia and China. And for that reason alone, I love what Trump is doing. But you're right, sending a drone towards the USS Abraham Lincoln is a great way to lose a drone.
And then these idiots were in the Iranian parliament chanting "Death to America." I'm just like, oh God, please keep poking that pit bull, man. But I'm really getting to the point, and this is how we Americans are. We want somebody's rear end kicked there, Morgan. We want to see some butt kicking here. When do you suppose, or will it come to a strategic surgical strike?
I remember back after September 11th going to a local pizza parlor here in Birmingham, Alabama named Davenport's, and they had up a sign that if the weather in Kabul, Afghanistan, and, it was like 28 degrees Celsius on Saturday, and then on Monday it was expected to be like, 14,000 degrees.
Yes.
And that's what Americans wanted.
I know.
We really wanted the president to go in there and level the place. And Bush never did that, right? He never had the cojones to just go in there and just lay into the Afghans. We instead built them power plants and roads and paved their streets and everything else. And I'm not saying we didn't do good work there, but we did too much nation building and too little butt kicking.
Yeah.
And this president, it's wonderful that Donald Trump is a man that the world is afraid of.
Yeah.
People like Maduro and people like the Ayatollah should be very afraid of Donald Trump because he is not afraid to go in and just vaporize their Congress.
But also, and I've talked to this with Blaine Holt and Tony Schaefer and others, I did not expect this level of even I'm trying to think of the word. He doesn't react in a fashion that you would think. He's very deliberate. He's very, very deliberate in his actions, and he takes his time to do it. I would like him to speed it up because people are dying around, but at the same time, very deliberate. We didn't have to do much to get Maduro out, and I guess that was kind of a surprise to me.
Well, the level of coordination we did a ton that the American people didn't see. So our military practiced. They built a model of Maduro's compound. They went in with a very precise operation that only the United States military could do.
Yeah.
We made all of the Chinese air defense systems that were in Venezuela look like they'd been purchased off Temu on a Saturday night special. There was just an incredible amount of planning and logistics that went into it. And it's the nicest thing you can say about any performer. If you go to the opera or you go to a great museum and see a beautiful work of art and say, oh, that looks easy. The United States military is the artistry that went into that strike just made it look easy, but it was enormously complicated.
Exactly. Well,
the same thing I think is...
Can you hold on to the next break?
Oh, absolutely.
Good, because I got a lot of other stuff I want to hit on. Morgan Murphy is on the Newsmax hotline. We'll check back in with him in a moment. This is the Rob Carson Show. Harford County. It's the Rob Carson Show. More with Morgan Murphy, by the way, Senate candidate from Bama. Thank you very much. In just one moment, I'm following the price of gold again. You know, it dropped about, $800 last week, and everybody's kind of freaking out. Well, the problem is, you see, the week before it went up $500 in a day. I mean, do you remember it? It was like, what? And then people said, you know what? I bought gold a year ago. It was at 26. I'm going to sell at 56 and pocket the change. That's what they did. And then it dropped, and now it's at 48.38. So it's tempting you. It's saying, come here and buy me. Invest in me. Get rid of that 401k that's underperforming. Why do you have money in savings? It's doing nothing. Money in savings is doing nothing. It's like a liberal son living in your basement. Just does nothing. There you go. 4838. Text my name, Rob, to Birch Gold. If you would like to get in on it while it's down, text Rob to 989898. Birch Gold will give you all the information you need. There's no obligation whatsoever. It's very simple. Like I told you a couple weeks ago, I had this little bit of a 401k I did from selling cars, and I said, convert it. Got the people in charge of my 401k on the same phone line with Birch Gold. Transaction was simple and easy. Boom, and I got in for like $4,800 and some odd dollars, as opposed to $5,600 a couple weeks ago. Spectacular. So text my name, Rob, to 989898. Rob to 989898 for Birch Gold. From Bama. My sister lives in Alabama, Morgan Murphy, and so do my nephews. They've been raised. They're from Iowa. They've been raised in Alabama, so they're officially Alabamians, by the way.
Well, fantastic. Tell them to vote for Morgan Murphy.
Dude, hell yeah. You know they're going to, because they are major MAGA. They are major MAGA. My sister Annette and my three nephews live in Bama, so that's pretty awesome. When do you think?
Well, don't tell everybody how great it is. We try to keep that a secret down here.
I know. I haven't spent a lot of time in Bama. I drove through on the way to Florida a few years ago, and I stopped all over when I drove down. I drove through Arkansas and Louisiana and Bama, a little bit of Bama, and I went and I had to drive some of the back roads, and it was the best dang thing. The back roads are the best way to go. It's really pretty.
It's God's country down here. It's a lot of fun to be in Alabama. We don't want everybody to know about it because we're getting a huge influx. It's the seventh most. U-Haul just came out with. It's like the seventh most popular state right now for people to move to.
I've never been down on the Gulf Coast down there.
Worried.
I've never been on the Gulf Coast. I hear it's amazing.
The sands are so white they look like snow.
Wow. Or a Democrat protest. Like one of those Minneapolis protests, as white as snow, that crowd up there. A lot of stuff going on with, Donald Trump. The Greenland move, I got to tell you, was a masterclass in Donald Trump, art of the deal kind of stuff. And that is impacting people around the globe. People began to realize towards the end that it was such a strategic move because China and Russia were working together. You've got this game of 3D chess that he plays. Then you've got that affecting Iran, their oil, and I mean, there are so many balls in the air, but that was just part of the puzzle, and it was masterfully done.
You know what? He makes me proud to be an American and also hopeful as an American. And I think that's just something that has been lost in our country since the Reagan administration. Yeah. When you look at what Trump is doing, when he's talking about getting Greenland, which is something American presidents have been wanting to do for 150 years. Yeah. When he says, I'm going to build a new golden fleet of battleships.
Yes.
Young boys don't grow up dreaming to maybe one day be sailors on a littoral combat ship. They dream about being on a battleship, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so he's just inspired a whole new generation of Americans to take pride in this country and be excited about the future of our country. And it shows in just everywhere. It shows from military recruiting. It's just up through the roof. We're oversubscribed in almost every branch of the service, to things like our economy, which the Atlanta Fed just said that the economy grew 5.5% in the fourth quarter.
It would have been 7 if it weren't for the shutdown. It would have been 7%.
I know. Schumer threw a boat anchor in the middle of that incredible. But that's like we haven't seen our economy grow at 5.5% since again the Reagan administration.
Yep.
So
it's going to be bigger than that ever.
This Trump boom.
It's going to be bigger than that.
About it. I hope people can hear about it.
It's going to make. Listen, you're not supposed to blaspheme Ronald Reagan as a conservative, but Donald Trump will make what Reagan did pale by comparison, and he's only a year in. I'm just telling you, it's going to happen, man. It's going to happen.
I never thought I'd see it. I never thought I'd see a president that when I was a kid, Reagan was president. So when you say the word president of the United States, I always thought about Reagan until Trump.
Amen.
He is the greatest president of my lifetime.
By the way, just want to mention that unemployment claims ticked up a little bit, but that's just the Washington Post. So,
well deserved.
Morgan Murphy,
sports columnist, whatever they will do.
Murphyforsenate.com, brother. Whatever you need, we are here for you, man. As you win that race, come on, baby, let's do it, okay?
I'd love it.
All right, man. Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate it. Murphy for Senate. We'll have you on again soon, brother. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. I like that guy. He was a winner, right? That was a winner. I enjoyed having him on. That was fun. Donald Trump's on Newsmax 2 right now. Let's check over on the YouTube and just see what's going on. Let's go look at Twitter. How you guys doing, by the way? What I got here? Prani Yuprachet. Hello, how are you today over on Facebook? You Facebookies. You guys are the Facebookies, the YouTubers, and the Rumbly Ruse. The Rumbly Ruse. Hello. Kerry Corley Jr. Truth be told, too, where's Lindell been? I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Lindell. I'm not so sure I support him as the governor up there. I'm not so sure. Johnny Tone is new over there on Rumbly Roo. Welcome to the show. Pat Carr is back. Good to have you there as well, guys. I love to have new fans on the on the show, and I know that Dookie Bear and all you guys will make them feel at home. I know the same way with you guys over on Facebook and again on YouTube, and all you guys on X. Thank you for watching on X. I really appreciate it. We have a massive following on X, and I'm just proud of it. So I hope you are enjoying the show. Got the studio going here, and I'm just very blessed to be able to do this for a living. Very, very blessed to do this for a living. I can't imagine anything better. DOJ announced they have arrested the Minnesota Antifa cross-dresser who called for people to take up arms against federal agents. That's good news. That's some good news. I like a little butt kicking. Wow, we got big numbers on Twitter today. Woo-wee! Woo-wee! You guys kick ass. I appreciate it so much. You have no idea. I'm so blessed to do this. All right.
About 340 here.
Okay. A little while ago, I did the Don't Catch the Stupid update. Here's why I did that. This is a school board in California, and this woke, worthless woman, says that they don't want to use the term homeless anymore.
I'm personally offended by what was presented.
Oh, yes. I don't personally give a crap.
On so many different levels.
Oh, dear Lord. Who cares?
One thing I would like to see updated is the word homeless to unhoused.
Oh, shut up. Wow. How about no? How about just shut up? You word burner. I'm just so tired of word burning. Sick and damn tired of them. Did you see, by the way, the Grammys way down in numbers this year? The Grammys, the woke Grammys. CBS presentation of the 68th Grammys, 14 million total viewers, down 11% from last year. With adults, 25-54, down 5.7. With younger people, 20% decline, 18 to 24. 20% decline. By the way, you know how much I love music. The soundtrack to the movie Sinners, I am enamored by it. It is the best soundtrack. I don't even remember the last. I remember Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? That was really, pretty good soundtrack. There have been a lot of good. Nothing this good. This is such a good soundtrack. It is the soul of American music. It is blues. It is a tribute to Robert Johnson. It is Irish folk. It is a little bit of ragtime. Buddy Guy, who's a legendary blues guitarist, does an acoustic guitar solo with vocals that harkens back to Robert Johnson. Robert Johnson was a blues guitarist who invented blues out of whole cloth. He disappeared for a year, and he came back, and he played blues guitar, which had never been heard before. There's only a few recordings of him, and they said that he met the devil at the crossroads, and he sold his soul to play the guitar. And this soundtrack is so bloody good, I swear to God. There's a song called Road to Dublin. There's a song called I Lied to You. There's a song called, oh my God, it's so good. Sinners. I've been listening to it on Spotify. I listened to it at the gym 2 days ago. I listened to it on the way in today. Goosebumps. It is America. It is America. It is so good. So many. And you can tie in bluegrass and blues and Irish jig, and they all come together because they're all the soul of America. I know, Irish jig, whatever. But in this, it's just almost perfect. It really is. It's almost perfect. Listen to it. Write me about it. Write me on the comments tomorrow on social media. It's the best thing I've heard in a very long time. If you love music, oh my God, you'll understand why Led Zeppelin was inspired by Robert Johnson and the blues. Oh my goodness. All right, tomorrow's Friday, baby. Woo! God bless you. America's founded Donald Trump. The Democrats are going into a death spiral into the pits of hell, and there's no saving them. Yay, but there is saving America. And until tomorrow, do not catch the stupid Sinner soundtrack. Do it. Boom.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.